Now we have come to the important topic from this chapter, the fundamental unit of life. Now we are going to study about the structural organization of cell, that what the structural components are present in the cell and how a cell is organized. Every cell, they consist of these features or this structural components. First is the plasma membrane. It is the outermost layer or the membrane present in a cell. Next is the nucleus. This central region, it is the nucleus. Here the genetic material or the DNA is present, and this thread-like structure, the DNA molecule, it is present as the rod-like structure called the chromosome. This rod-like structure, it is called as the chromosome. And here this region between the plasma membrane and the nucleus, this fluid region, this is called the cytoplasm. The region between the plasma membrane and the nucleus, this fluid portion is known as the cytoplasm. Here the various cell organelles are present, such as vacuoles and then your mitochondria. These all are the cell organelles. We will be discussing about the cell organelles later in the coming session. And first of all, we will study in detail about the plasma membrane, then the nucleus, and about the cytoplasm. Previously we discussed about the structural organization of the cell, that what are the structural components present in the cell. So the first one was about the plasma membrane. Now I will be discussing in brief about the plasma membrane. So this is a fluid mosaic structure of plasma membrane. It was given by Singer and Nicholson in the year 1972. So this is the model for the ultrastructure of plasma membrane, that how the plasma membrane is present and what are its components, how the plasma membrane, what is the structure of the plasma membrane. So the plasma membrane consists of bilayer of phospholipid. So here these are the phospholipid molecules, and there are two layers of this. One is this one and second this one. And it also comprises of the proteins. These molecules which are present, these are the proteins. So this phospholipid molecule, it has hydrophilic head, that is the water loving side, and the hydrophobic tail, that is water fearing or water repelling tail. Similarly, the second layer of phospholipid, it also constitutes of the hydrophilic head and the hydrophobic tail of phospholipid molecule. And there are two types of protein which are floating in this sea of lipid. So these protein are known as extrinsic protein and the intrinsic protein. The protein which are present either on the outer side of the plasma membrane or on the inner side of the plasma membrane, then it is known as, and these are present on the surface, either on the inner outer surface or on the inner surface of the plasma membrane. They are known as the extrinsic protein. Whereas the protein which is completely in between these phospholipid layer, that is known as the intrinsic protein. So this plasma membrane, this is selectively permeable in nature, that is it allows only the selected molecules to go inside and to be moved outside of the cell. And the reason is because of this hydrophilic and hydrophobic ends present in the plasma membrane, which allow only the selected molecules to pass through this cell. So there are two phenomena through which the transport of material take place inside and outside the cell. So these two phenomena are diffusion and osmosis. In diffusion, the molecules, they move from a region where their concentration is high to a region where the concentration of these molecules is low. For example, spreading of ink. If I put a drop of ink in the beaker containing water, then here at the surface the concentration of ink is high. So now this ink, it will start to spread throughout the water in this beaker. So the diffusion takes place from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration. Here in osmosis, it is the movement of solvent from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. This is the semi-permeable membrane. That is, it allows only some substance to move across this membrane. Consider this as chamber A and this as chamber B. Here in chamber A, the water concentration is high and the solute concentration is low. These white circles, they represent the water molecules, and this black dot, they represent the solute molecules. So here there are very less solute particles, whereas if you see this side B or the chamber B, here the concentration of water is low, only few white dots are present. This represents the water molecule, and the solute concentration, the black dots, they are present in high number. So the water molecule is more here. So here the concentration of water molecule is high. So it will move from a region of high water concentration to a region of low water concentration. Or you can also say that here the concentration of solute particle is more and here the solute particles are less. So it moves from a region of low solute particle to a region of high solute particle. Now, for example, consider a potato slice placed in the concentrated sucrose solution. So here in solution, the solute particle, the sucrose particle are more in number and water will be less as compared to the potato slice. Inside the potato slice, water is more and the solute particles are less, same as this A. And the membrane here of the potato, consider it as a selectively permeable membrane. So here the sucrose particles are more, so the water inside here the potato slice is more. So water molecule will move from the potato slice towards the sucrose solution outside in which it is placed. So as the water moves out of this potato slice, the potato slice gets shrink. So this shrinking of potato slice occur due to osmosis. Now we will be discussing the effect of solution on plant cell and animal cell. For animal cell, we will be taking the RBC as example, and then for plant cell, it has the cell wall around it. So there are different type of solution. First is hypotonic solution, isotonic solution and hypertonic solution. These solutions, they are classified on the basis of concentration of solute molecule and the water molecule, the concentration of water molecule present in these solutions. So in hypotonic solution, or when a cell is placed inside the solution, the surrounding solution has high water concentration and low solute concentration as compared to the cell present. So here in a hypotonic solution, the cell has less amount of solute and low water concentration. So water will go inside the cell and the cell will swell up here and finally it will burst. But the plant cell, here also water molecule goes inside if placed in the hypotonic solution, but it will just become turgid. It will swell up but it don't burst. Why it don't burst? Because of the presence of the cell wall around the cell. We will be discussing about the role of cell wall later in this chapter. Okay, then is isotonic solution. In isotonic solution, the amount of water and the solute particles is same as present inside the cell. So water will move inside and outside of the cell. So there is no loss or gain of water. So the cell will remain as it is. Whereas in case of hypertonic solution, the surrounding solution or the hypertonic solution, it has low water concentration. So the water will move outside the cell because the water concentration is high inside the cell. Same was the case when I told you about the osmosis in that potato slice. The water moved outside. Why? Because the water was more inside the potato slice. Here also in the red blood cell, water is more and outside. In the hypertonic solution, the water is less. So water moves outside the cell. Here in plant cell, what happens? The protoplast, it detached from the cell wall, and this phenomena of detachment of the protoplast or shrinking of the protoplast apart from the cell wall is known as the plasmolysis. Now there is another phenomena known as endocytosis. What happens in this? As you know that the plasma membrane has the flexibility. So this flexibility of the cell membrane allows the cell to engulf the food or some solid material present in the environment. So take the example of amoeba. In this, it forms the cell membrane, it forms the false mouth known as the pseudopodia, and this pseudopodia helps to engulf the food, and around this again the membrane is formed and this food is being processed in the phagosome, that is the food vacuole, and the food gets digested here in this food vacuole or the vesicle.